program is the Active Center.
You know, every single day, there are these invisible forces at work. A whole team of guardians making sure your world is just a little bit safer. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the U.S. agencies that are protecting you in ways you probably don't even realize.
Think about it for a second. When you buy something, how do you really know it's safe? Or when you see an ad on TV, how can you be sure it's not just a flat-out lie? Who's actually standing between you and a company that might be willing to cut a few corners to make a quick buck?
Well, that's exactly where our heroes come in. The U.S. government has this whole team of regulatory agencies, and their entire job day in and day out is to fight these battles for you. They're basically our primary defense against business practices that are illegal, unethical, or sometimes just downright dangerous.
All right, so let's meet our first hero. We're going to call this one the Guardian of Fairness, but you probably know it as the FTC.
So, the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, its main job is pretty simple actually, to protect you from being cheated. That could be anything from a company making totally false claims about a weight loss product to another one trying to build an unfair monopoly. If it's not fair, the FTC is on the case.
And every superhero needs an origin story, right? The FTC was born way back in 1914 to deal with a massive problem, these giant monopolies that were just crushing any and all competition. But over the years, its mission got bigger. Now, it's this major force fighting against consumer fraud and those misleading ads that we see everywhere, from TV to our social media feeds.
And if you want to see them in action, check this out. The FTC stepped in when some companies were using popular cartoon characters to sell vitamins with totally bogus health claims aimed right at parents. And they didn't just stop them, no. They forced the companies to pay back more than $425,000 to the families they tricked. That is real, tangible protection.
Okay, next up on our team of guardians, let's talk about the Environmental Protector, the EPA.
With the Environmental Protection Agency, the mission is pretty much right there in the name. It's the shield that stands between all of us and environmental harm. And its job is to safeguard both our personal health and, the health of the entire planet.
So what does that actually mean day to day? Well, the EPA is the agency setting the rules for pollution. They're the ones who make sure contaminated sites get cleaned up. And maybe most importantly, they enforce huge laws like the Safe Drinking Water Act, which helps make sure the water coming out of your tap is actually safe to drink.
You can really think of the EPA's work as a shield against disasters before they even happen. They are the reason a company can't just decide to dump a bunch of toxic sludge into a river or pump poisonous smoke into the air we all have to breathe. Their work is all about preventing health crises that could last for generations.
Our third hero is a big one, and I guarantee you've heard of him. This is the Public Health Shield, the FDA.
I mean, the Food and Drug Administration has a massive job. They oversee pretty much everything you put in or on your body. We're talking about the food on your plate, the medicine in your cabinet, the makeup you use, even the safety of high-tech medical devices. The FDA's stamp of approval is this incredibly critical layer of trust for all of us.
And their job has a few different parts to it. It's not just about watching what's already on the shelves. The FDA also plays this huge role in pushing medicine forward by helping new, safe drugs get to market faster. And believe it or not, they're even involved in national security, helping us prepare for public health emergencies.
And here is such a powerful example of the FDA in action. Remember the Ebola crisis? It was a really scary time, and some companies tried to profit from that fear by selling fake cures. The FDA came down on them hard, shutting down those dangerous scams and protecting people when they were at their most vulnerable.
Okay, and for our final hero, this is the one that watches over all the stuff inside your home. Meet the Product Safety Sentinel, the CPSC.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission is all about the physical things in our lives, your kids' toys, your kitchen appliances, the furniture in your living room. Its entire mission is to protect you and your family from products that could cause a serious injury or, in the absolute worst-case scenario, even death.
So why was the CPSC even created? Well, it was established back in 1972 because, frankly, too many people were getting hurt by unsafe products. Today, they are constantly evaluating items, setting safety standards that companies have to follow, and when a dangerous product does slip through, they're the ones who issue those critical recalls we all hear about on the news.
And here's just a perfect, super relatable example. By finding faulty parts on a children's swing and forcing a recall, the CSPC directly stopped kids from getting seriously hurt from a fall. It's that kind of quiet, preventative work that literally saves lives.
So, we've met all the individual heroes, but like any good superhero squad, their real power comes from how they work together, creating this incredible safety net that protects us every single day.
Let's just break down how it all fits together. You've got the FTC, the oldest of this group, guarding fairness and honesty in business. Then there's the EPA, protecting our air and water. The FDA is handling biological safety, the food and drugs we use. And the CPSC is watching over the physical safety of products. See? Each one has a clear lane, but together they form this comprehensive shield for modern life.
So what's the bottom line here? Look, business is always going to involve profit and risk. That's just how it works. But these agencies exist to draw a very firm line in the sand. They're here to make sure that a company's search for profit never, ever comes at the expense of your health, your safety, or your life. They exist to balance the scales.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. In a world that's rapidly changing, with AI, cryptocurrency, and supply chains that stretch all over the globe, the threats are changing too. So the real question is, how will these unseen guardians need to adapt and evolve to keep protecting us from the dangers of tomorrow?
Program is the active center. Program is the active center.